Je m'appelle Xavier Prou, alias Blek le Rat. Je voudrais annoncer officiellement ma collaboration avec Woodbury House à Londres. Nous avons de grands projets. Suivez-nous, à bientôt à Londres.
So this is your house as well as your studio?
Yeah.
So you live here as well, yeah?
Yeah.
And you're constantly coming up with ideas,
Constantly, I'm always concentrated on my work, and not many people come, so they don't disturb me. And
that's important.
And
yeah.
I have a simple life, you know, like family life.
Good.
And I don't see many people. I don't go outside. I don't go to parties.
Yeah.
Things like that.
You don't drink either, do you? No.
No, I don't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's good. Keeps you focused.
Yeah.
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 So this is last time I was here. This wasn't here.
This is Hambleton.
Richard Hamilton.
Richard Hambleton.
Wow, that's incredible.
And this, the body is my son.
Okay.
And I took the image of his face.
Yeah. So it's like a modern Hambleton.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that idea, and why did you do that?
I want to make a tribute to Richard in New York, you know.
Okay.
So since for a long time, I was so influenced by him, you know, because when I saw his first work in Paris and Naples in 1983, I saw his first work in Europe, and I was so impressed by what I saw. I really like this guy. Unfortunately, I never met him, which is one of my regrets over my life.
Well, this is really good. Really
thank
cool.
you.
And is this finished or is it still working?
No, it's finished. I want to put a varnish on it because it's matte here. So I want it to be a little more glossy. I'm preparing another one.
Nice.
With the Hambleton. I'm going to make a series of maybe 5. It's a real tribute, and when I was working on it, I really feel like Richard pushed me to make this. I had kind of communication with him, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, like a spirit communication with him. Yeah, really.
These are like the shadow figures behind.
Yeah, behind. Yeah.
Has this got the gloss over it?
Yeah, it's varnished.
It looks really good once it's varnished.
Yeah. I don't usually work with black and white background, so it's special for Hambleton.
I know these are on canvas, but a lot of your clients, a lot of your collectors like to collect stuff on the wood.
Yeah, I love to work on the wood.
Is that
too.
because it's more authentic to the street?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
But then I guess it's more traditional or more culturally sort of collectible to have things on paper or canvas because it's easier to hang.
Absolutely.
But this makes it a bit more raw, a bit more authentic.
More authentic.
Yeah.
That's what I think. I think so too.
Yeah. There's something about it that just makes it stand out once it's on wood. I do like obviously the canvas, but the wood, there's something about it. Hey, the Gucci belt.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, right. This is also my son. You know, I took the face on internet.
Okay. I thought it was going to be Sybil's belt.
And this is Alex's belt.
Okay.
Actually.
Very fancy.
Yeah.
And what's this piece called? I really like that, the angel.
This is Beethoven.
Beethoven, yeah.
Beethoven. Yeah, this is Chopin, I think.
Okay.
This is Chopin.
Who's this character underneath here, though?
So it's an angel. I don't know if you know the music of Beethoven, of Chopin, or they were touched by the heaven, by the God when they create their music.
Okay.
So
you put these in between.
Yeah.
Between, yeah, really nice. I love the butterfly.
Yeah. My mother, she was half Chinese, half French, so she believed really in the Buddhist religion. The day she died, I dreamed she rebirthed as a butterfly. I love butterfly for that reason.
Ladies and gentlemen, collectors, art lovers, fanatics, I'm so privileged to be here sitting next to this man, Mr. Blek le Rat, in his house stroke studio in Paris in France. For me, this has been a bit of a dream because when I interviewed you over a year ago, in actual fact, I've been watching your market for many years before that. You know, I've been learning about you, reading books about you, documentaries, news articles, other artists referencing you. And over time, it was a natural progression for us to contact you, speak to you, start collecting your work, then start selling your work to our collectors and investors and lovers. And now I'm pleased to tell everybody that Woodbury House, Blek le Rat and your team, we're going to be working together officially, and we're going to be bringing you to the UK and also to London. Okay. So thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You're welcome here. I'm very glad to meet you. It's a pleasure to work with you also, because I saw that you were very perseverant, and which is a good thing, which means that your commitment is really strong in this movement and
thank you.
In my work. And thank you for coming, and I'm very glad to have this time with you.
Perfect. Yeah, we are very honoured. As you well know, we've been working on the Richard Hambleton market since 2014, and we've taken his market from this sort of level to a much bigger level. And what we've done is we've told the story, we've told the narrative. And then when we've looked at your artwork, we said, well, this just makes complete sense. We feel like there's a connection there. We've been reading about you, we've been buying your work, we've now been promoting your work, and I just feel this is a perfect time to launch Blek le Rat back into the UK, back into London, and to get everybody talking about who you are and why you're so significant to art history. I feel quite privileged because between you and your wife, Sybil, who's absolutely fantastic, she's the boss. Yeah, she's the person in the background that makes a lot of things happen. It feels like a very family-run business, you know, and you're very, very close, and you know who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with, and what sort of projects, you know, you would like to work on. How come you chose Woodbury House? What was your final decision working with us?
It's difficult to say, because there is so many people who are interested in that movement and in my work, but many people are not serious also, you know. Many people are only interested to make some money or to get famous themselves through my work, and so it's very difficult to make the difference between the good people and the people that want. So that's the reason for a long time when people ask me to work with them, I don't answer, or you know. So when people are perseverant, and so I see at that time that their commitment in my work, and I saw that you were serious through Richard Hambleton also, because you represent Richard Hambleton in England, and I love this artist, and it was when I saw that you were working with him, I said those people are serious, because not so many people was interested by Richard Hambleton. So that's the reason why I'm working with you now, and I'm very happy to go back to London, because I had some shows in London about long time ago now, 2006. It seems to me very near from now, but it's a long time ago. So I'm very, very, very glad to work with the gallery in London, with your gallery in London, because London is so important place in the world. I think it's the most important place, more important than New York, in my humble opinion, because every British people they like art very much more than the French people like. French people don't like art very much. The British people, they like art, they like every kind of art, music, fashion, art, paintings and everything like that. So it's very important to be, I used to say that when you are known in London, you are known all over the world. You know, when you are famous in London, you are famous all over the world. Because in Australia, in the United States, in Canada, in South of America, they all look what happens, you know, what is happening in London about art.
Yeah.
So if you are recognized in London, you are recognized all over the world.
I agree.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. It's the most important. It used to be Paris in the 19th century,
Paris,
20th century. It used to be Paris, but it's not Paris anymore. It's London.
Well, there's still a big, because where we make ourselves is quite naturally London and the UK, Paris and other parts of Europe, and also New York. And I think between these three hubs, this is where most of the culture and the demographic and the buyers and the collectors come from. But I have to say, you know, we get a lot of inquiries all the time in London specifically for street art, Hambleton. Absolutely. And now we've passively shown your work and mentioned that we're going to be working with you to some of our collectors. I mean, I've got to say, it's been so easy for us to promote your work because they said, well, you know, if you've represented Hambleton and now you're representing Blek, it just makes sense for us to buy, you know, your work as well because it complements what they've already got. So it's very, very exciting times. Okay. And when we do a real big push online and then we do a big show in London, Soho, Mayfair, I think we're going to draw a big crowd in. I think the PR, the press are going to be writing all about it. And I think we're going to get some very, very important collectors there. Because your work deserves it. You've already got really good people collecting your work. You've got some very, very famous people that have collected your work and who've actually been quite vocal about it. And I think you're going to attract a lot more. So before we talk about, you know, who influenced your work, Richard Hambleton, or even, you know, when you used to work in London, let's take it all the way back. Yeah. So, you know, as an artist, you're famous now, but there was once a stage where you was beginning. So talk to me about that. Why did you begin to do art? What influenced you to do art? And yeah, like how did it all begin?
It's a long story.
Okay.
So I come from a family, they were all artists. My father was an architect. My grandfather was an architect. My two uncles, they were painters, artists. My aunt was an actress, my aunt knew very well the surrealistic movement, André Breton and Max Ernst. She was very near from Max Ernst. So I raised up in this kind of family who were interested by art. So I raised up with many paintings. My grandfather, who was an architect, he was a painter also. He was famous as an architect, my grandfather, in the 30s. And so I raised up in this climate of art. And when I was 20 years old, I wanted to make the Beaux-Arts school, you know. Okay. So I went to the Beaux-Arts school for a long time, and I studied architecture, I studied paintings, etchings, lithography. I didn't study the sculpture, which is one of my regrets because I love sculpture, but I'm not a sculptor. In 1972, I went to New York, and for the first time of my life, I saw street art. And it was a revelation for me, really big revelation. I remember to ask to my friend Larry, why people are doing this, what does it mean? Because at that time, 1972, nobody in the world, except in New York, would understood what happened in the street of New York and the subway. So I remember to ask to my friend, what happened here? What people are doing this? And Larry said, I don't know, they're crazy people, maybe some sect, some satanic sect, things like that. So I kept this in my mind. It was very strong because to draw in the street, people were making signature and they were drawing, characters in the streets, and it was something so new and so disturbing, that I kept this in my mind for 10 years, and I started to make graffiti in 10 years after 1981. So I started in Paris to make rats because Paris is full of rats. In 1983, I saw another revelation. Richard Hambleton was the first graffiti artist to travel to Europe to paint on the walls of Europe. He was the first one to do that. And in 1983, I saw his shadows in Paris. And I said, wow, it's so great. It's it was huge and full of paint, with splash and hidden in the street, and it was something like somebody was hidden in selling drugs, or I don't know, or hidden because it was very strong, very, 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 very strong. So at that time, I realized that to make something big, it was important. So before that, I was making rats, I was making some portrait, but small pieces. Yeah. And when I realized that the impact of Hambleton Richard works, I said to me, I have to make big things, large characters in the streets. So I started to make, few months after, I started to make large characters of people in the street. And I start with an Irishman that I took in the newspaper, from a photo that I took in the newspaper. He was an Irishman screaming against a soldier, and he was very brave. This guy was very brave. I remember the photo. The photo was, you could see a soldier with a gun, aiming someone with a gun, and the old Irishman was screaming against the soldier. And I said, wow, this photo is so strong. I'm going to put this man in the street of every city in France. So my first character was an Irishman, and old Irishman.
What type of reaction did that piece get in the streets of Paris?
So it took different reaction. People didn't know that he was an Irishman screaming against a soldier. Yeah. So for some people he was a Buster Keaton. So some people told me, "Oh, you have met a Buster Keaton in the street." I said, "No, it's not a Buster Keaton. He is an Irishman." Or some people thought he was a derelict, asking money to people, but. So it took. So I realized at that time that when you leave an image in the street, it takes different meanings to the people, which is very interesting. Which is something very interesting, because people, when they see an image in the street, they give their own interpretation of what means the image. Yeah. And it's something very interesting in the street art movement.
For sure.
Because it's the same thing for every artist, Yeah. So it gives to the people the possibility to have a different meaning and different. How can I say? It's a very interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I agree. you could show one image to 10 people and they might react or respond in one way. 2 weeks later, you might show it to another 10 people and they react and respond in a different way. And the great thing about art, especially art like yours, which is so great, is subjective. It creates emotion and there's different messages there. So naturally, Paris was your canvas. You know, you started to put your paintings up in your stencils. But then fast forward the clock, you're now everywhere. You know, in America, I mean, we made a Richard Hamilton documentary in New York last year in November. One gallery, Blek le Rat, another gallery, Blek le Rat. I mean, you're so famous in so far away from where you live, and then you go to different parts of Europe and they're talking about you. So where have you worked? You know, which cities have you gone to one, to do some street art, but two, to sell your work?
So I've been in many different countries. I've been in all South of America. I've been to Buenos Aires, Lima, Peru, Mexico City, in Santiago de Chile, New York, San Francisco, everywhere. Marrakesh, and I left some stuff in Marrakesh also.
So these stencils, what do they all mean? You know, because some of them have got famous people on it.
Yeah.
This one here is actually you.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one behind you is your son's body, but Richard Hamilton's face on it.
Yeah.
So how do you come up with these different ideas, and what do they actually mean, and what's behind the style?
It depends. It depends of the time. It depends of the city where I have to work. For example, this image of Hambleton, I'm planning to put it to paint it in New York as a tribute to Richard Hambleton. It depends, you know. It depends the feelings I have for the city. For example, the man who I call this painting the man who walks through the walls. So the idea is that this guy, which is myself actually, is traveling all over the world, but he doesn't need to take the plane. He goes through the walls and he reappeared in different cities. I paint him in Taiwan, everywhere, in London.
Yeah.
I put many of them in London too in 2006.
And what I've noticed as well, being here twice now, you have the canvas works, but then you also have works that are on wood.
Yeah.
And what I like about the wood is quite authentic and true to its grassroots, which is street art. Yeah. Because that's how you started.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this one is a bit of both, isn't it? You've got a bit of canvas, bit of wood on there. Yeah. Your collectors now, what do they prefer? Do they prefer the canvas? Do they prefer the wood? Or is it a bit of a mix?
It depends. It depends the collector. You know, for a street artist, it's quite difficult to find a way to show our work in the gallery, because the gallery is a completely different space than the street. Yeah. If you work in the street, when I'm working in the street, I leave an image. The environment is very important for the image. Mm-hmm. It took different meanings, depends the environment. Yeah. But when you are in the gallery, when you represent your work in the gallery, it's completely different space. And so it's very difficult to find a way to show your work, to be honest with the collectors, and to say the things you're going to buy in the gallery, it's a memory of what happened before in the street. Yeah. You know, the work in the street is 100% important. And the work in the gallery is also 100% important, because if we don't show our work in the gallery, there will not be a memory of what happened before in the street. Okay. For example, we don't have anything from the street artists in New York in the 60s. Yeah. Because at that time no gallery was represented the artists in New York. So we don't have anything. We don't have anything concrete to remember
Yeah.
what happened in New York in the 60s.
Yeah.
So it's very important to keep a memory of what happened in the street. So when I have a show in the gallery, it's to say to the people, the thing that I'm showing here, it's images I have done in the street before. Yeah. Canvas is easy to pick up. It is all easy to carry. It's easy to ship. And on the wood, it's more difficult because it's heavy and it's not. We can't roll it. But I think the works on wood is more authentic than the works on canvas. But I tried to find on canvas the background on my canvas. I tried to find something which is near from the wall.
Okay.
You know, I tried to find the poetic things from the wall,
yeah.
to reproduce it in the background of the. It's
yeah. You're trying to make it authentic
to
the wall.
Yeah,
but
because
difficult.
I want to be honest with really honest
yeah.
with the people.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
So we've got back at Woodbury House, because we bought the small rats, which you sprayed, which are really, really good.
Yeah.
But also what I like, which is next door with Sybil, your wife, is now the rat is standing up and it's up on its feet. And how is the rat itself, because it's iconic to your name, how's that evolved, over time?
I would say thank you, Banksy, because he brought a new style in the street art through his own rats. I don't want to say that I copy Banksy,
did Banksy probably copied you though, because you're the one.
No, he didn't copy me. He was influenced by me.
Influenced by you.
Influenced.
So he must have saw your rat first, and then he maybe took the rat and changed it, and then you changed it again.
He took the concept of rat, which is a very interesting concept, because rats are the most wild. Are the wildest animals in the cities, and I've read somewhere that after the big flood, only rats will survive in the cities. So he took the concept of these animals. He make an evolution
of the rat.
Of the rat.
Yeah.
And so he represents the rats differently, with funny image or. A very strong image also, strong.
Yeah. I'll read you something from The Independent newspaper, famous newspaper in the UK. This was written on Saturday the 19th of April 2008. Blek le Rat, this is not Banksy. And as you start to read through the article, they basically say that you were the godfather of creating the stencil art, and this is a snippet. Yet, if Banksy is indeed the daddy of political conscious graffiti, let me introduce you to the godfather, Blek le Rat. The 56-year-old Frenchman was stenciling city walls while Banksy was getting to grips with crayons. So what they're clearly referencing here is, way before the rise of Banksy, you were creating these stencils and you were making a political stance, in some of your works. I mean, how much do you agree with The Independent there?
Yeah, I agree completely.
Yeah?
I agree completely.
So with Banksy, some of the articles I've read, it's almost like a love-hate relationship between you both. And then some of the articles, it's like, well, no, Banksy absolutely adores you, because one of the articles says, every time I think about doing a new work, I've found out that Blek has actually done this 10, 20 years previous. But then also when I've spoken to you before, Banksy might, get a little bit aggressive with you and say, hey, you've said this about me. So what's the relationship like? Is it a good one, or is it sometimes a bit love and hate? Tell me more about it.
More that I love him more than I hate him. You know, I don't hate anybody anyway. No, I really I think Banksy is a very clever guy. To be influenced by my work means that he's very clever, because he understood that when you make stencil in the streets, it's a very easy way to work freely, and to because when you make a stencil, it goes very fast. You spend only 10 minutes to make a stencil, and so he was very clever to understand that, and to use the stencils to make his own work. I really like his work, really. I'm very surprised how he's so famous now, because he knows how to he understands the art market very well. He knows absolutely how to, I don't want to say manipulate it, but he knows how to works with the art market, influence the art market, influence the media, and it's something that I don't know how to do it. You know, I don't know.
Well, working with us.
Yeah, you know how to do it, but I don't know. I'm old school. You know, in my generation, we didn't know. The gallery used to do everything for you, for an artist. So I'm old school. I'm an old generation of artists. The new artists, they know, like Banksy, like Shepard Fairey, like many older artists. They control their own market and
PR, and advertisement.
Strategy. They control their own strategy and everything, which is a good thing, you know, for the new artists. I think it's a good thing. But I don't know how to do it, because I'm old school. So thank you if you.
Well, we've got a blueprint that we've done with Hambleton, and we took Hambleton from his shutter heads 4,000 to 8,000. Now they're selling at 40, 50, 60,000 and more.
I know.
So, you know, look, we're still learning, but we have a blueprint, and we know certain things to do in order to bring the awareness, buzz, hype, the excitement, and to draw in the big collectors and the big names, and that's important. Just going back to Banksy then, I mean, I think you was telling me before that you was in the same room as him. You have met him, but you can't actually remember who he was.
That's Ben Hines told me that, but Ben Hines told me that. Yeah. We were in the same room. We talked together, but I didn't know.
And has Banksy ever sort of contacted you, emailed you? Has he ever said anything? You know?
He emailed me once. He sent me after the tunnel, you know, the
Lake Street.
Yeah. After the Lake Street, he sent me to say thank you, Blek. He sent me a screen print, which
Banksy screen print.
Banksy screen print, signed it, and I was very happy with that. I didn't know that. Yeah, I received a parcel from England. I opened it and said, "Wow, it's a Banksy." So it's something that I keep like a jewel in my life, because it's a recognition.
Yeah. So in this show that you just referenced there, so Lake Street Tunnels is a famous tunnel area in London, in Waterloo, where big shows happen. But the most important thing, any street artist from any walk of life will come along and do their work without feeling threatened or feeling like they're going to get in trouble by the authorities. It's a place that you're allowed to go. And Banksy said to the media, he was painting or doing some work, and he said, "I'm going to leave this space for Blek, because I want him to use this wall for his art." And you went along there and ended up doing your work there, right? Next to Banksy.
Yes. I spent an afternoon in London. And I paint the wall. It was organized also by a guy called Tristan Manco, who is a Banksy friend. And yes, it was something very strong. I don't know if it's still there. No, they repainted
there's
There-
regular shows, regular artists.
there's
I'm
still-
very
it's still,
surprised.
it's still a place for painting.
Absolutely.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe when you come to London, we'll go there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, going back to what you just said, he recognised you as an important artist.
Yeah.
Hence why he told the media he wanted to give you, save a piece of the wall for you
Yeah.
to paint on,
Yeah.
and then to gift you one of his own, works.
Yeah.
Is a really, really good sign. Was there ever a time like where he might have got annoyed, and he flared up with you? Because I heard that Banksy could be a bit up and down, maybe.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I can understand. He's so famous now. He has so many people asking him so many things that it's going to be, for him, it should be difficult, to have relation with people, I guess.
Yeah.
In my small life, many people ask to me many things also, and then I know it's difficult, to answer to the people. So for Banksy, I guess it should be terrible because
Yeah.
because
just hard.
each time somebody when someone contact Banksy, it's for something, so
sure.
it's not for to get friend,
Yeah.
to be friend or to be
When was the last time you heard from him?
maybe 2013 or
Okay.
when I had he contacted me when I had an interview for the Channel 4.
Okay.
After that,
Okay. What did he say to you then? Something you can't talk about.
no,
Okay.
it's private. Yeah.
Would you like to ever collaborate, work with Banksy? Because a lot of people talk about you and Banksy in the same conversation.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fantastic that Banksy, Blek le Rat, Banksy done a few works together?
Oh yeah, it would be a dream.
Yeah.
I hope sometimes before I die, because I'm 70 years old now, so I start to be old. Before I die, yes, I would like to, because we are important people in the street art movement, and so to make a collaboration sometimes it would be important for the history of art.
I think so.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too. But I don't know him actually. I never. Somebody told me that I met him, but I'm not sure it was true. Or so I never met him, so I don't know what does he think exactly about that.
Now you're working with us, and we obviously got a big presence in London. Maybe there could be a way where we could,
It would be great.
Get them over, and maybe we could talk about a project together.
It would be great. Yeah.
So apart from Banksy, you've inspired many other artists, but someone's probably inspired you. And I know you've mentioned Richard Hambleton. He's known as the godfather of street art. He was coined that by the New York Times. And coincidentally, or sort of the irony of having this conversation with you, because you're known as the father of stencil graffiti. And I've actually evolved that. I call you the godfather of stencil art, because I really think you are. I mean, even in that independent article there, they call you the godfather. That's their own words. When people call you the father of stencil graffiti or the godfather of
Or the
stencil art,
grandfather.
or the grandfather, how does that make you feel?
I'm very proud about that. I give 40 years of my life to this movement of graffiti art and street art, and so it's I gave most of my life to this movement. So it's very important to be recognized for me, and I'm very glad. I'm very proud of it. When somebody recognizes that I've done something in my life, what a man can expect more than that, I'm very proud of this, I gave my life to this movement, to this art, and to be recognized now as someone important in this movement, it's something that
Great
I'm
honour.
very glad,
Yeah.
honoured.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
So Hamilton was a great inspiration to you.
Yeah,
You were
really
fascinated, blown away
fascinated.
by his work.
Blood,
So much so, the only artist that you've ever bought, which is next door and we've looked at,
Yeah.
you bought it in auction in 1999, 98?
1990.
1990 for less than $2,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it only had an estimate for $3,000.
Yeah.
You bought it. It's a big sort of jumping original shadow figure,
Yeah.
and it's the only artist that you've ever bought. So tell me, why did you want to buy his work?
Because when as I told you before, when I saw his work, I saw this is the guy the most important in this movement. You know, only in my humble opinion, only few artists will stay in the future. Banksy will stay, Shepard Fairey will stay. Of course, Richard Hambleton will stay because, in my humble opinion, he's the most important street artist, more important than the others. Also, there is a guy in France called Gérard Zloty-Camion. He used to make street art in 1963 in Paris with chalk. He was painting this kind of figure. So this guy is very important for me also. He's absolutely unknown. He's still alive. In my humble opinion, he's very, very also important. And he influenced me also. Because I knew his work, I saw his work in Paris.
So previous conversation, so you bought the Richard Hamilton from Christie's. You actually showed us the book earlier from Christie's, the original one. And in there was even Keith Haring's that were bought for $15,000, which sounds crazy now because they are selling at 5 million, 10 million, you know, even more. And Hambleton's now, I mean, we've seen sales up to about 2 million now, you know, and even beyond that, which is phenomenal. So Hambleton was a big inspiration. You mentioned Shepard Fairey. What about people like Space Invader?
Space
I know you know Ben Iron is a friend, you know. There's a few other Pure Evil. So you've collected all.
I love Slinkachu.
So you've taken all their work as well. You've done swaps.
Oh yes, of course. Yeah. I have many works from Shepard Fairey. I have many works from Pure Evil. I don't have anything from Ben Hines actually. No, I don't have anything from Ben Hines. I have to.
We'll get you one.
I have things from many artists. Good.
And so tell me
about.
And
the thing that also you said that it's a very good investment. Art is a very good investment. In a hurry to resell the work that you bought, it's a very good investment because I bought this Hambleton $1,500 in 1990, and now I know that I can sell it for £300,000.
Yeah, you could easily.
I could do so. You can see the difference in 30 years. It's a very good investment.
The growth.
So you must say to the people that art is a very good investment. If you know how to choose which artist you buy, it can be a very good investment.
Well, I think it has a double-edged side to it. If you can adore the artist, like the artist, like the movement, like the circumference of the whole entire, founders and the people that created this movement of street art or stencil, or, you know, as we said before in another conversation, that when we talk about street art graffiti, there's different pools now of street art. It's not just one style. It's always evolving. It's unlike pop art or modern art. The street art culture is always evolving. It's always adapting. But if you can buy important people within that history segment and you like their artwork as well, for sure over time, if they're backed by the right people, if the right collectors are backing them, the right museums, the right shows, the right content, it can go from one level to the next. And lots of our clients have benefited from that, from Richard Hamilton predominantly, but some other artists as well, you know. And obviously your art's gone up since you were
and when
younger.
you see for Banksy also, you know, when he was selling for nothing in 2000, in 1999 he was selling for $300 a painting. I don't know exactly, but now the same painting will cost $20 million.
Yeah. Well, Love Is in the Bin, which is the one that shredded in half, that sold for close to £20 million last year.
20 million.
Close to 20 million.
God.
And it was only 18 months, 2 years before, where it was sold for, I think, about $1 million or $2 million. So the point is, it is a good investment. But at the same time, if you can like it and enjoy it, you've got a win-win. So when you used to work in London, this was back in 2006, and I think it was a guy called Mike Snell that reached out to you and said, are you still painting? You said yes.
Yeah.
He came over to you here, got some of your artwork, took it back to London and started selling.
Yeah.
And Mike Snell, as far as I know, the research I've done, he's part of the Connor Brothers.
Yeah.
And the Connor Brothers, you know, their market has gone really well. You know, they've been selling a lot of artwork. There's a lot of galleries, not just in London, but worldwide selling. So he's quite a smart guy. So
yeah, very smart. Very smart.
So to recognise you as an artist back then and to start promoting your work before anybody else did, that's testament to the fact that he knew you were going to be someone.
Yeah. He had a good. We say in France, we had a good nose. You know, he had good feelings. Good. He knew. Yeah. Because at that time, it was 2006. I received an email from him at the beginning of internet. 2006 was not many people had. So I received an email from him saying, "Are you still making paintings?" And I said yes. And he answered automatically. He answered, "Oh, okay, I'm coming tomorrow. I'm gonna take the train, and please pick up me at the train station." So I pick up him at the train station the day after the email. And so he came here. He saw two or three paintings. He said, "Okay, I'm going to organize a show at Leonard Street Gallery because I have a friend. He has a gallery at Leonard Street in September. So I spent the summer working for him. Yeah. I prepared about 20 paintings, and so we shipped the paintings to the Leonard Street, and the day before the show, everything was sold. Wow, sold out. So I said, wow, that's something. London. Yeah. I have to take London as an important city. Yeah. It was the first time in my life that it was sold out before the show. And I said, wow, okay. So we worked together for 2 or 3 years with Mike Snell, and Mike Snell took different direction after that. But he was very, very good. He was very, he was young, like you, young guy, and he had the energy of the young people. I remember him. We had a trip in New York together in October or 2006, October or September, I don't remember exactly. So we had a trip in New York, and for a show in New York, and I remember he came to New York with a lot of screen print on his arm like that, and he had the box to pay, not PayPal, but he had the credit card box, and during the crowd, when the crowd was staying,
you walk around.
He look around and selling etchings, selling screen print to the people in the crowd, So he had a lot of energy. He wanted to have success, and I love people like that. Yeah. And I think you are I'm sure you are a guy like that. And British people are really strong people, very, energy. They have a lot of energy
Yeah.
compared to French people who are
Well,
sleeping.
we have definitely got the energy for business. We've got
Yeah.
the energy for the art market,
Yeah.
and the most important thing is
Yeah.
we've got the energy to build you back into London
Yeah.
and get you to where you need to be.
And the difference between you and Marcel, that Marcel didn't know anything about the art market at the beginning. He knew a little bit. The difference that you know very well the art market. You know the
Yeah.
collectors. You know, you are introduced in the art market very strongly, and but at that time, you know, it was really the beginning. You know, 2006. Banksy had a show in 2004 or 5 in London, where he sold everything.
Yeah.
But it was not a big things, you know. So for him it was difficult, you know, to contact the people. For Meissner it was not easy to introduce me to the British people, and it was hard for him.
Yeah.
So I recognize that. Thank you, Meissner. I didn't see him for a long time, but I would love to meet him again.
Well, no doubt when we do this big show in London, he's probably going to appear.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I hope so,
that'd
yeah.
be great, and I would love to meet him as well. I think he's done great things for you, and it was a good chapter of your life. But
Absolutely.
Woodbury House now, we're here to carry on and take the baton and take you to the next level.
It's not the same level. You are a high level.
Thank you.
With Mike Snell, it was okay. It was very interesting. I was very happy to have a show in London and everything, but it was not the same level. Yeah. But it's almost 20 years after. Yeah.
So you're 70.
Yeah.
You've got obviously plans with us.
Yeah.
Over the next 5 years, 10 years, what do you want to achieve from your market? What types of new works are you going to do? What new projects? Or do you just take things as they come?
I take things as they come, you know, and I'm working on projects as they come, and I'm going to work until my death, you know, for sure. I'm sure. I hope I have some years to live more, but we never know, you know.
Yeah.
I have a friend so many friends passed away the last years, you know, terrible. Some people, some street artists, French street artists passed away, and so we never know. But I'm going to work until my death. Until I pass away.
Me too.
You
me
too? Okay.
Yeah, I'm a workaholic.
Yeah, me too.
If I'm not working, I feel like I'm not achieving.
Yeah.
And I need to work to.
It's a waste
push
of
on.
time.
Yeah.
And when I was young, I waste my time I was so many times. Yeah.
Well, look, I'm really looking forward to when we get back to the UK.
Yeah.
Start really aggressively pumping the content out there.
Okay.
Educating the audience. Setting a date to really launch you, do this big show.
I'm sure it's going to work.
I think it's going to be absolutely incredible.
You know, every star are in this as a good place for that. You know, I mean, everything is ready for that to be really. I'm little famous, but I'm not famous like Banksy or like Shepard Fairey. Or like other people like Richard Hambleton is more famous, but everything is ready to be. Everything is in place to be very, very famous all over the world.
I believe so.
Yeah,
I believe so.
And I'm sure when we're gonna have a show in London, it will be a success.
It will be a major success.
I'm sure about that.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm very confident.
You're really important to art history, and I think, as we were saying with your son outside earlier, there's some good artists out there that look nice.
Yeah.
But there's other artists that look great. Yeah. But they're significant to art history. Without them, without you, there would be no the other artists today. You've actually inspired so many people, and without you, I don't think the market would be as good as it is today. So that's why working with you is such a privilege. You know, it really is.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for letting us into your studio and into your home, and watch this space. I'm very, very excited. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you.
Thank you.